Hey guys, MiracleMAX here. We've all seen it before, haven't we? Whether it's a cracked phone screen, a cracked tablet screen, or worst case scenario, a cracked big screen TV screen. This time we're looking at a Samsung tablet. Check it out. First of all it was dropped and then it was sat on. So let's pull it apart, see if we can repair it and make sure it's in good working order. It would be logical to start off the process by making sure that the unit still works after it's been dropped, or in this case sat on. So we'll just power it up and see what happens. There we go. So it's actually coming up on the screen, so we know that the unit is still in working order, but it's purely that the screen itself has been sat on, squished, broken. So we can shut it down and start the screen replacement process now. Before we try and remove the screen, especially because of the condition that it's in, it's already smashed, it's probably a good idea to wear some safety glasses just to protect our eyes from any flying glass that could get embedded. So make sure you put on your safety glasses, guys. In the past, when I've replaced screens on tablets and phones, etc., I've used the supplied tool. Now this little fella here is sort of like a spatula, a steel spatula. As you can see, the surface area is quite small, so it's quite easy to break the screen, etc. A better idea is to use something with a little more surface area, perhaps a paint scraper. You can see there's a larger surface area. We're going to get a better lift on the screen itself. Another thing that we will need during our process is a heat gun, and that is just to remove the double-sided tape from the digitizer to the main body. So we'll get to that shortly. And of course, one other thing that you're going to need is a heap of patience, okay? So if you don't have patience, don't attempt it. So as you can see, I'm just sort of moving it apart there, just to move it away from the frame. But it's already popped up there, as you can see. So by the time I get my paint scraper in there, I might just go further along here so that we can, when it actually does lift up, it should come up a lot easier. Just be aware, particularly in those areas where it's been broken, you don't want to shatter the glass any more than it already is. And you could always just stick in something else to stop it sliding back down again, which is part of the problem, of course. So we've got it off that clip in the corner. Should be able to just slide it along a little bit further, just making sure that you don't damage anything. There's wires and connectors below there, so just be aware of that, okay? You can hear that it's just gently coming off its clips, and of course just be aware of these broken areas. They can be quite dangerous. The clips are right on the corner here, so it's important to get either side of the clip to try and just lever it out of that particular clip. As I said, patience is the key. There we go. Now got our digitizer out, and now we need to disassemble the screen from the actual processing system here. We've now got the back cover off and put aside. It's now important to make sure that we disconnect any connectors that need to be pulled apart so that we can remove the digitizer from the actual screen body. So this is our digitizer cable that comes down here. So we just need to remove that tape that's holding it in place, or that's protecting the connector itself. We'll just remove that out there for a sec. Just put that aside. So once we've got our tape out the road, the next thing is to remove the locking tab. That's just this little brown coloured one. Just gently lift that up and remove any other tape that's holding the digitizer cable. That can be put aside like that. It's a good idea to disconnect the battery connector here. Now this little connector is unusual. It doesn't push backwards as we would normally expect. It actually lifts up. So you just have to gently get under there with a little thing and it'll pop out of its connector there. So like I said, it doesn't push in, it actually pushes up. So there you go, it's pulled apart for now. The digitizer, or the touch screen, is actually adhered to or glued down onto the screen itself. So this is where we need to use the heat gun and our putty knife as well to gently remove that double-sided tape from the digitizer. Starting at the bottom left hand side of the screen, we can gently heat up this area and then just gently wedge it apart with our putty knife. Now we don't want to go any further than the actual digitizer edge there, so that black line, we don't want to go any further than that so that we don't damage the LCD screen at all. And of course we don't want to overheat it either. Just gently getting in the corner there, you can see my blades going in, and you want to be able to get it in quite easily. So it's pretty important to keep the heat consistent but not too hot, of course. Better to do it slowly than go ahead, bull at a gate and get it wrong. Oh, that's hot. Just put these under here so it doesn't close down again. It's coming apart, it's just slow. Of course you really want to get the digitizer off in one piece, if at all possible, because particularly where it's broken, you don't want to have to deal with all that broken glass. So it might need more heat, hey? And just be aware it burns. There we go. Put that aside. Of course, the next thing you need to do is to remove all this double-sided tape, because that comes with the new digitizer, so that's next. So it's important that we clean up all this area around the edge, because that's where the new digitizer is going on. I've been using isopropyl alcohol, but not on the actual, I don't spray it on there. I spray it either on my little scraper here to get rid of the sticky stuff, or just on a rag itself. But the goal is not to remove every little bit of sticky stuff that's on there. That will actually adhere to the double-sided tape on the digitizer, the new one. The main goal is to get rid of any chunky bits that will hold the digitizer up. So if there's any, as you can see, I've pulled off all the double-sided tape previously. I've got all that off, and I've just given it a quick clean over. Also, what I'm going to do now, as you can see, is a few little fingerprints and bits and pieces on there. I'm going to use the lens cleaner that came with the camera that you're looking at this video through, and together with the microfiber. So use it on the microfiber itself, not on the screen, and then you'll need to buff it afterwards. Just a little tiny bit on the microfiber itself, and just give it a wipe. And it might look like you've like it's gone all dull, etc., but that just needs to be buffed afterwards. Okay. So once that's cleaned, I've got a few little bits and pieces I've got to tidy up yet, but then that'll be ready for the digitizer to go, for the new digitizer to go on. Just keep in mind, anything that you don't get off now will show through on the top screen, of course, so you want to make sure that this is spotless. Here's the new digitizer with the cable. Make sure that you pull the cable out of the road, of course, when you're putting it back on. You just push that to one side, just give you an idea. Of course, it's really important to be clean at this stage. Make sure your hands are clean. Now I need to remove the inner cover. It keeps it all nice and clean. Just pull that out. And then, of course, we need to gently remove the tape that's holding or covering the double-sided tape itself. Once again, make sure your hands are out of the road. Don't leave fingerprints on it or anything like that. Try not to touch anything at this point. Just gently pull that past and get rid of that. Now the hard part, have to make sure that we can align it correctly. Now this part is crucial, so take your time with it, okay? Make sure you've got plenty of space around you. And it's a good idea just to align it up at the bottom corners. Make sure your cable is out the road. I might have to twist that to face me a bit better at this point in time. So just gently lay it down, align it with your bottom corners. You don't really want to have to do this a second time, guys. So make sure that you're happy with its alignment before you lay it down. And just gently lay it down. Make sure it sits correctly in each of the corners before you push it down hard. So now we can turn him upside down and just put pressure on those corners to make sure that it's all aligned properly. Keep in mind that that's double-sided tape there, so you want to get it to adhere correctly. Make sure you don't push on circuit boards and componentry that might get damaged. It's time to reassemble your digitizer. So see this white line going across here? That is designed to stick into this line here, going across here. Once that's done, then we can push our little tab down and just gently push it in. As you can see, wiggles in, no probs, and then just gently pull down your locking tab. Make sure it's in as far as it'll go. It'll stop, and you can see that the white line on the circuit board is lined up with the line on the ribbon cable there. So simply pull down your locking tab until it's in place. And of course, don't forget your battery there. That's got to get pushed back down into place too, like that. Just be aware too that these little on-off buttons, etc., and your volume button are just sort of sitting there. So it might be an idea to push your actual tablet into place in this direction and then clip it down this way. And hopefully that should stop any of these little buttons coming out. Push it in on the corners and then gently work your way around. It's not quite right there. Might require a bit of effort. Just gently to push it in place. You can hear them clicking in okay. And sort of work your thumbs around and push your thumbs into the corners. There we go. Just needed a bit more effort in those corners. There we go. Perfect. Okay, that looks alright to me. Okay, proof in the pudding. Let's press the button and see what happens. And we have a Samsung Galaxy Tablet 2 10.1 that's working with a nice screen. So I'll leave that other covering on the top for the customer to pull off, but of course you can work it through that. That's not really an issue, but there we go. That's a screen that's complete. We've replaced a screen on a Samsung tablet. We've gone from this to this. I hope you found that video helpful, guys. If you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel, give this video a like, and feel free to comment down below. So until next time, we'll catch you later.